What's up, everybody? This is Hog Farmer Joe from Hog Farmer Charitable Foundation. Before you listen to Enter the Lab podcast today, presented by Red Zone in the Lab, I'm asking you to help us on our mission by helping children and families affected by pediatric cancer by making a small donation at www.hogfarmercharity.org. Thank you, and as always, hail to the commanders.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to episode 2 of season 2 of Enter the Lab. Today, we talk about the first official week of NFL free agency. We look at some of the moves that have been made and some of the transactions that kind of shocked us this week. We also going to talk about the top 5 linebackers in this upcoming NFL class. Stay tuned. Enter the Lab.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to Enter the Lab with my boy DT, C. Henry, and you know your one and only Lady E. Mwah.
What's going on, peeps? Well, with March definitely comes the madness. The opening of the NFL Combine and the opening of NFL free agency signals the beginning of a new season. So it's time for us to take all the frustration and disappointment from last year's season and replace it with some new ambition and some excitement. Free agent acquisitions, putting together draft strategies, and draft picks are going to provide us with a renewed sense of hope of possible playoff scenarios and possible Super Bowl dreams for some of us struggling franchises like my Lions. Happy hunting this acquisition season. This is truly the season of hope. What up, though?
I want you all to go check out You Grow Girl. That's Grow, Grow, written by a dear friend of mine, Jay Smith. It's for daily affirmations for Black women. It is filled with beautiful, colorful images of Black women and powerful affirmations. You can find it at Amazon.com.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Enter the Lab podcast, season 2, episode 2, with the lovely Lady E and my boy C. Henry, brought to you by Red Zone BC. And man, look, I just gotta say, the first week of NFL free agency, y'all. Whoo, we seen some moves, and we seen some transactions, we seen some things, and we still got some people holding certain teams up, like a team in New York. Well, I ain't gonna mention his name, but like it's gonna be crazy this week. What y'all thinking so far, man?
I mean, my team just went kind of crazy on me, so I'm excited. I mean, I don't know about C. Henry's and his Lions, but I know my Falcons are doing what they're supposed to do. Shout out to you, D. Thank you so much for Taylor. You know, we needed that backup. You know, just wanted to throw that out there. You know.
Well, you know, man, DT, man, I'm very excited, man, about what's going on everywhere in the NFL, definitely what's going on here in Detroit. Shout out to my boy, Big Brad, back here. He's putting it together, man. The silent assassin. He's putting together a great class, man. I'm just excited, man. We got a couple of corners that we're really excited about, man. We upgraded at the running back spot with David Montgomery. I think today we signed Graham Glasgow. So we plugging holes, man. We plug so many holes right now. I'm having a hard time filling out a mock draft for us right now. So we're in a good spot right now. We're in a good spot. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're in a good spot.
You having a hard time filling your mock draft, man.
Listen, on some real talk here. And I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, override you guys with Lions talk, but real talk. We had a lot of needs coming into the off season, the season of hope, if you will. But let me tell you, man, we've attacked the secondary with 2 great cornerbacks. We still need an interior defensive lineman, but we kept some depth guys here who were on the team last year. There's still some possibilities out there in free agency. We got to, you know, Jalen Carter was looking real promising for us, but we're going to have to talk about his performance this past week. I don't know, but I mean, Brad got us sitting pretty. And again, we have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. So, yeah, we got some luck. We're going to make some luxury picks in this draft, no doubt. Talent over need, baby.
Yeah, I agree. I think so far for Washington's sake, they're reestablishing the offensive line. You went in the trenches, and they're fixing it with getting 2 guys that we know so far that's got valuable experience. And Wiley played with Kansas City. Nick Gates, he played with the New York Giants. Both have versatility on the offensive line. They also bring back the boy Daron Payne. He got his money, he got paid, and now he gets to come back with his teammates, and they look to dominate this upcoming season. With that being said, let's go ahead and talk about these moves so far, man. A lot of the free agency moves already been made. We've seen it from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, things like that. And one of the shockers to me this week has been Javon Hargraves. I knew he was going to leave Philly, but going to Philly to the 49ers? Oh, my God. That defensive line is about to be feasted. With nigga Bosa up there, ooh, man, that I think that's an underrated sign, and it also, I hate to say it like this, it also kind of tells on me a little bit on what did that franchise think about Javon Kinlaw, the former first round pick. I don't think he really has lived up to those expectations. That's why they spent the big bread. So I'm gonna go with you, C. Henry. What do you think about that move? I gotta give that A+ so far.
First and foremost, man, I it's a couple of teams that, I have to give kudos to, because I don't know who their capologist is and who's working out all these numbers. But for San Francisco to be able to dole out what is like $84 million to a premier defensive tackle who, they already had, like you said, a very, very solid line. Armstead, Bosa already there, Kinlaw already there. Then we talk about what they have on the offensive side of the football with Debo, CMC, Kittle. There's a lot of guys making a lot of paper over there. They don't have that. I'm sorry. They did get rid of Garoppolo. I don't know if we're going to talk about him later, but they got that kind of off the book. So they're kind of working that magic with that rookie contract, if you will, 2 rookie contracts at the quarterback spot. And we're seeing them able to kind of beef up their team around those quarterbacks. Now, the question is, are they going to have a guy healthy enough back there to lead them to some victories come September?
Well, I'm going to say this. The 49ers said that they going to the Super Bowl. That's all I'm going to say about that. You go out and get a player like Hargrave like that and bringing them in. Like I said, I do agree with you, DT. It does show that they're not that high on Kinlaw anymore. I did hear some rumors that they're supposed to be probably looking for a trade partner for him to probably get him off. I think he almost getting close to his 5th year contract with that, so they're probably willing to upload that to another team unless we're going to do a sign and trade. But other than that, San Francisco said, you know what, we're going to bust up this defensive line. Everybody's coming back healthy. As long as they stay healthy, San Francisco going to be a problem now. That's all I'm going to say, because yeah, that defense it was already scary beforehand. It just got even scarier.
Shout out to the former South Carolina State graduate for getting that big bread. That's good right there. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is your new host, DT. I am the host of the Ins and Out D podcast, a friend-friendly NFL podcast where we talk about all the teams, including my own Washington Commanders, even touch on college football. I just gotta tell you guys, this is a great podcast for you to listen to, and you guys can also follow me at D Cleveland Jr. on Twitter. But also, let's go ahead and talk about my boy, my favorite defensive lineman on my Washington Commanders, Daron Payne. He finally got that payday after an off season from my own fan base talking about who was the worst defensive lineman out the group, saying, "Oh, it got to be Daron Payne. He don't do nothing, man. He don't get the sacks. He don't get the pressures, none of that stuff like that." I just sat back there in the space and I said, "Okay, just y'all watch. Y'all gonna see this boy unleashed." I've been telling these guys for the past 3 years, this guy has K1 short ability. He just has to put it all together. And what makes you know? Jerron Veratone say, "Hey, I'm not gonna pull your I'm not gonna give you the money till you show me what you can do." And he showed us what he can do this year. And I know, Lady E, you want him to be right next to Grady Jarrett, but you're just not gonna get him. You just not gonna get him. He's in the DMV.
It's okay. We had the money to blow. We had the money to spend. So it's okay. Y'all got him. Like I said, that would have been a nice little asset to Grady Jarrett. He is a good player. He did show that he deserved the money. But at the same token, I get it. Y'all got it.
See, Henry.
You know what, man? I'm a little torn on this, man, because Deron Payne before this season, man, I was kind of like, he's not that guy. I don't know if he's gonna get that contract. He was consistently a 4 or 5 sack guy. This year he stepped it up. So the only question I have for Deron Payne is if he can consistently keep this amount of production up going forward. That's the only question. But as far as solidifying that line, making that the bedrock of your defense, I think it's a smart move with Jonathan Allen, Montez Sweat, Chase, and hopefully coming back healthy there. The question is going to be, man, is when Chase comes due, what does he get a big time contract, and can you guys fit him in?
Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the most dominating topics in the nation's capital upcoming this season. So now we head to Las Vegas, and the Raiders. Let's just face it, C. Henry. The Raiders are a mess, man. Like, I honestly don't really know truly the direction, but I do know one thing. They decided, hey, at least we're going to get a solid starter in the NFL as a quarterback, and that's going to be Jimmy G. Jimmy G will reunite with Josh McDaniels and be QB1 for the Raiders. Also kind of surprised that a guy like Jarrett Stidham, he left knowing he actually had an opportunity to finally have the reins to be the starter in Las Vegas, but he decided to go be a backup elsewhere. So now Jimmy G comes to the scene. He finally leaves the grass for the 49ers. And, he has some decent weapons right there. He gets to throw to Devontae Adams, but I think it's just going to be like more of a let's keep the things afloat things right now for Jimmy G. What do you think about this situation?
So Jimmy definitely had a winning record with the San Francisco 49ers. When I look at the Las Vegas Raiders, like you said, DT, they are a little bit on the messy side. I don't know, outside of Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs, I don't know really what they're dealing with offensively. They just traded away Darren Waller as well. So limited outside of Adams, who is a great weapon, limited there. But I don't think, when you look at the exchange of quarterbacks, if you look at going from David Carr and then going to Garoppolo, I don't think you upgraded whatsoever. Maybe got someone in a similar vein, but one thing about Derek Carr, and some people are going to disagree with me, I don't think he is as mistake prone as Jimmy Garoppolo, or if he is in terms of the number of mistakes,
yeah.
The moment that Jimmy makes the mistake is always seems bigger than, like his numbers. Like he's going to put up a stat line of 3,800, 4,000 yards, 25, 26 touchdowns, 8 or 9 interceptions. He's going to have a nice touchdown to interception ratio. But when he makes that mistake and how he makes it, like that one game where he's getting basically sacked and he just kind of flings the ball in the playoffs, and then it's kind of it's intercepted. And I don't know if they returned it for a touchdown or not, but basically a crucial play. He makes the mistake, and then when he has the potential, like in the Super Bowl, to make the big throw, he misses it. So to me, he's not an upgrade over Derek Carr. I think he's kind of a placeholder. I don't know if they're going to still look to a quarterback in this draft. Maybe not in round 1, but I think that they can still probably look there in round 2 and 3, or day 2 or 3. But not overly impressed with the move, and it looks like you said, the morale there is not quite right. I'm seeing, Devontae, in social media, kind of, sending out some signals that he's not happy. Josh Jacobs, who's currently on a franchise tag, is sending out some things on social media that he's not happy. So, a lot of things to be concerned with in Las Vegas. Great stadium, though. Great stadium. Beautiful. Sits right off the strip. I got a chance to see it this past a couple months ago, actually. So, yeah, great stadium.
Ah, boy, man. So let's go ahead and talk about one of their rivals. So the Denver Broncos, after a horrible season with Russell Wilson, they decided, hey, we're going to reestablish the line of scrimmage once again. So they signed former Baltimore Ravens Ben Powers. Now, looking at his deal, it says 4 years, $52 million. This guy's been consistent, hasn't really been hurt a lot. He allowed 1 sack, 1 hit, and a couple 11 QB hurries this season. So I think this is a good move, especially for Sean Payton, try to get things back for the Denver Broncos. They also get Javonte Williams coming back from injury from that ACL around week 2 of the season. So hopefully that can boost the run game and try to take some pressure off of Russell Wilson and try to get him back to form.
Yeah, I like what Denver is doing. They also got Matt McGlinchey from San Francisco. Upgrade for them at the line, at the tackle position. So they're definitely trying to solidify that offensive line in front of Russ. And then they have the weapons on the outside with Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. And again, you spoke about Javonte. He's a big I'm a big fan of his, I should say, especially for fantasy football. But keep an eye on him. I've been kind of watching him, seeing how his progress is going with that knee injury. Turns out he did a lot of damage to that knee. It wasn't just one particular ligament, and I think it was 2 or 3. And I don't want to say he's had a setback, but his progression and his rehab has been a little slower than average. So definitely have to watch him. But I mean, this is a big year, man, for Russ and Denver. You know, they've invested a lot. Denver has in terms of Russell Wilson going out to get him, in terms of his contract, in terms of bringing in Sean Payton. Now they're going to kind of switch things up a little bit for Russ in terms of getting his personal coach out of the building, getting his throwing him out of his office that was put on the second floor. So it's going to be a lot. I mean, I don't even know how he was able to get, pull them strings anyway. That's them was some boss moves right there. He might as well just got him a little club and threw a pole up in there and just said, this is Russ time, baby. Let's ride, as he said. But he was a boss for that. But Peyton saying, nah, we're not having that, and we're trying to win some football games. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Denver works that out. But solid start to free agency, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, probably have Sierra room up in there.
Oh man. Hey, so look, one of the top tackles in this year's free agency, Orlando Brown, he finally gets that big payday outside of Kansas City. He now has blocking from Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, and now going to Joe Burrow. This guy's going to have great luck with these top quarterbacks lately. So now he finally gets that deal and looking like he's going to be on the left side again. Listen to Kansas City fans and people on Twitter and spaces like that. A lot of people, they kind of share their concerns. Like, yes, he's a talented guy, but he does give a lot of pressures. Now, there is some context to that, knowing that he's playing with 2 mobile guys, and he gets to play with Joe Burrow, who has the improvisation to get out of trouble. But do you think this is going to be a good fit for Cincinnati to have Orlando Brown at left tackle?
You know what? I think it's an upgrade. It's an upgrade for Cincinnati. It's a positive move in Cincinnati. Orlando Brown, I followed him a little bit, since his time in Baltimore, and I know his ultimate quest to be a left tackle. And I don't know if it's like truly, if he like really is being truly driven by him, being a true architect or true, believer in the craft, and he just believes he's a left tackle, or he just like, hey, I want to be a left tackle because if I'm classified as a left tackle, I could make $46 million more than the right tackle. So I'm kind of, worried about that a little bit. I think he has some challenges on the left side. I think he's probably best at the right side. But when you look at Cincinnati in their situation, he's actually improving them in a number of positions by him just being added to that line. Because I believe now Lyle Collins is going to have to be pushed inside to a guard position. He played the left tackle position last year, or right tackle, one of them. But whatever he was at, he was a little bit overwhelmed. I think he's probably he did his best work with Dallas when he played on the inside at the guard spot when they first drafted him. I think he'll be able to kick inside and play next to a guy like Orlando, and that may solidify that line in a couple of spots, the guard spot and now the tackle spot. If he's going to be, is he going to be the next great left tackle? I don't know, but I think he is an upgrade for that team. that's already pretty good. So shout out to Cincinnati. That was a solid move for them.
All right, here we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk about this big ego guy and Big Apple. Now, a word from our sponsors.
Do you sit back and say, man, these walls just need something? Feel like it's time to freshen up your place with something new? If your answer is yes, then it's time to call Rob of Lewis Paints Plus, the accent wall expert. Rob will even give you a free estimate on how he can transform those boring walls in your home. To book today, call 240-418-5241 or reach out on Instagram at Lewis Paints Plus. And for 10% off, tell them Red Zone sent you.
And we are back with Enter the Lab with me and C. Henry, and Lady E will be back in a couple of minutes. So we get to talk about this is a hot topic this week, obviously, and I'm going to be real. I know I'm the host of this show and stuff, but I'm going to let the air out a little bit. This Aaron Rodgers situation with the New York Jets, it's really bothering me, C. Henry, and I'll tell you like this. So the brother goes on the Pat McAfee show. You know, he airs out his grievances. He talks about what's been going on, the things like that. He takes his little darkness retreat, you know, try to clear his head. He talks about, you know, he was going to retire. He was like 90% tired, 10% playing. Then next thing you know, he checks his phone on his darkness retreat, and finds out there's talks about him being traded. Well, Aaron Rodgers, I want you to know this. Did you not think you were going to have conversations about being traded? Did you not think that was not going to happen? I mean, you have to look at the situation, man. You're still a talented player. Yes, you are. You had a down year. Green Bay had a down year. But at the same time, you know there's a guy right behind you, and they have to give him an opportunity. They cannot waste his rookie contract for you. You get what I'm saying? And I'm sitting here thinking like he's doing all this knowing, and now he's trying to make it seem like, oh, the Packers are in the wrong. And there are some things that the Packers have did wrong to Aaron Rodgers. I will agree with that. But there's also some things that Aaron Rodgers has done in the past couple of years that makes people just despise him. Just be off of him. I think this year, man, I love Aaron Rodgers, the player. But when it comes to the person, I'm good off him, CMA. And knowing you've played him twice a year. You've been dealing with him ever since he got there. I mean, what do you think about this? Like, do you think he just has this ego thing that just bothers everybody in the NFL?
I think you know, a lot of folks have ego, and I think he's no different. I think he may be a little bit, you know, a little bit more egregious at times, but he's always had a very, very, very elevated, if you will, opinion of himself. You know, I've had the privilege of seeing him twice a year, see him for number of seasons, have, you know, do great feats on the football field. I've also seen him, you know, come up short a number of times in big moments, come up small a number of times in big moments. So with that being said, I think he's a great quarterback. I think he's a Hall of Fame quarterback. I think that, you know, when it comes to this situation, he's a little bit jaded because I don't think he saw it happening this way. I think he still sees himself as being able to play at a very, very, very high level. And with that being said, he doesn't think that, you know, he's over the hill. He probably doesn't think that Jordan Love is better than him. And to be honest with you, I don't think Jordan Love is a better football player than him. I think at this point, to your point, you know, it is year 4 for him. So we have basically, or is it year 3 or 4? Okay, so year 4. So we've got, I think it's either year 3 or 4. I'll look it up in 1 second, but we've got a year or two to kind of, you know, evaluate him, you know, to see if he is going to be the future of this franchise or not. And then, you know, when you look at what's going to happen next year in the draft. Next year's draft is supposedly a strong draft into the quarterback. So this will be a great year to evaluate him and see if he is the guy. And if he's not the guy, then let's go, let's get one of these guys in next year's draft. But also, I think there's a little bit of things going on behind the scenes. I think that, there was a little bit of a power struggle between Mike LaFleur and Aaron Rodgers in terms of, who's controlling the team. Mike LaFleur is, one of the younger coaches, in this league, came up through the Sean McVay coaching tree, if you will. Very, very much vetted, and I think is a solid coach in this league. But again, Aaron likes to challenge authority, and if he thinks he's smarter than you and more, knowledgeable than you, he's going to really, really push the envelope. Also, Aaron wasn't around in the off season for this team. This is a very, very young team, and they need his tutelage. He's so great. Let's see you elevate some of these players around you. Let's see you take some of these guys to the next level. We're bringing in young pieces for you. Let's see you try, take these guys to the next level. And we just didn't see it. And I think they became a little bit tired of it, and everything, kind of came to a head now. And it's like, yeah, we're ready to move on from you. Yeah, you're so great. And, you think that you're going to, get this great haul, via trade or whatever, but whatever, or it's going to be too hard. His salary would be too hard to move. So unfortunately, maybe he has, like I said, he may have no place to go. But with that being said, they're like, listen, I don't know where you're going to go, but you got to pack your stuff up and get the hell out of here because we got your stuff packed. It's at the dump.
Yeah, it's at the dump.
So let us know really what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? We can ship it. We can whatever. Let us know. But we're trying to make some moves. So very interesting to see how it goes. And then, now, again, a laundry list. And it's not just bringing in Aaron and dealing with Aaron's idiosyncrasies. He got a laundry list of players. I call them team washed up that he wants to come along with him. Randall Cobb and Mercedes Lewis. I didn't even know Mercedes Lewis was still in the league. I thought he was, on his way to either being on TV or an executive in the NFL office. I didn't even know he was still going to training camp and all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot, man, and it's crazy. And I think the New York Jets are just starting to get a taste of it. It's going to be crazy to see what they give up for him and how this works out, because he's going to end up eating up not just a bunch of their cap in terms of money, but he wants 2 or 3 or 4 guys to come in and take up roster spots. That's tough.
Yeah. Okay, so for clarity, he was drafted in 2020, so he will be heading to year 4, and they have an opportunity to pick up the 5th-year option, which more than likely, I believe that's what it'll do to get a full evaluation of him. All right, so the other trade that happened over the week, and they had made a famous Twitter mistake because they called him a safety on Twitter. So Jalen Ramsey, he's now out of LA, and now he is heading to the Miami Dolphins. And I gotta say, bro, I'm actually surprised that a lot of people was not in on this trade, because when you look at the conversation, Miami gave up a 3rd-round pick and a 3rd-string tight end pretty much to get a all-pro type player on their team. And he kind of had a down year, but he also had injuries and things like that. This LA is going to be in a world of trouble with all the things they've done. But this guy can still play at a high level. I think he's going to a good situation in Miami. It's warm. He can drink some orange juice in the morning. He ain't got to worry about no crazy traffic, getting near the beach, and he get to play with Xavier Howard and have Vic Fangio as defensive coordinator. So I expect Miami's defense to be a little bit and probably way better this year.
I like the trade. I like the move from Miami. Again, their defense is getting better. They have some budding pass rushers on that defense, so they can kind of get after the quarterback. And like you said, definitely one of the top cornerback duos now in the league. As far as the compensation, you know what? I'm not going to lie. There was a lot of talk amongst, Lions Twitter about going out and getting him. We had huge needs in the secondary. Folks were willing to give up pick number 6, pick number 18. And a lot of folks were like, he's a great player. He still played at a very, very high level last year. He was, I think, top 5 on a lot of folks' rankings from last year's, like PFF's rankings from last year. So I thought that, he was still a great player. But the bottom line is, at the time, we were hearing that he wanted another deal as well that was going to probably reach up to $19-20 million. He is, I believe, 27 or 28 years old. He's going to be looking for a 4 to 6 year deal. So we're talking about somebody who's going to be going into the twilight of his career. So I said, as a Lions fan, if we're going to go after him, I don't want to touch the first 4 picks. I don't want to touch any of our first 2 round picks. Let's offer a 3 and a 5. Folks laugh me off the internet like, oh, that's too much. That's this. I mean, I'm sorry, that's not enough. He's an all-pro. He's this, he's that. But I said, but here's the thing. He's older. He's very, very expensive. And low-key, how he has been utilized in LA the last couple of years was probably the best utilization of him in his whole career because he got to play all over the ball. Got to play on the slot a little bit, got to blitz a little bit more. He wasn't just playing on the island. What tends to happen, he's a great player. He's played on some very, very solid teams in LA, but he played in Jacksonville for many, many years, was a great player, but they didn't have great defenses. Why? Because they were playing him on the island. And a lot of times we can just attack everybody else on the team. We can run you off. We can, in effect, use you as a decoy. Use whoever you are guarding as a decoy, run them out to play, wherever play, opposite of where the play is actually going to go and pick on everybody else. And I don't feel like, for us, the situation where we are, we're not one player away, that we would give up all that compensation and the money and have him, again, attack every other weak corner that we have. So I'm very happy that he got his money. He ended up getting not a new deal, but his, I think the next 2 years on his deal are now going to be fully guaranteed years for him. So he came up in that way. He went to a team that's going to be contending in the AFC, and also no state income tax in Florida. So he came up. It's a good move for him. LA is a fire sale out there. I heard Stafford is on the market. I'm hoping that he doesn't find his way somehow to Green Bay.
That would be crazy.
Woo, that'll hurt my feelings. Don't do it, Stafford. Retire, bro. You got everything you need. You gotta at least be close to $300 million earned. You got a Super Bowl ring. You got a nice wife. You got all the F-150. You got an F-150 for life. I know the Ford's blessed you. So, hey, man, just go retire, Don.
Oh, man.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy, C. Henry, the host and producer of the Fellas Present Sports Rap Podcast. I discuss the latest happenings around the NFL, college football, the NBA, and also the latest from the Detroit sports scene. I try to keep it informative and funny, and we always keep it light with some of my hip-hop favorites mixed in as interludes. Follow me at CHEN313 on Twitter. That's at CHEN313. And also subscribe to the show on Anchor, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. And again, that's DA, Fellas Presents Sports Rap Podcast.
So the Dallas Cowboys, they decided to part way with one of their longtime rushers in Ezekiel Elliott. And this kind of hits home, former Buckeye for me, but you can just tell by just watching him past couple of years, just the wear and tear on his body. You can see he don't have the same burst as he used to, and you start seeing Tony Pollard be used more. So they finally let him go. They finally parted ways. I believe Dallas gets like $16.7 million from him now. So they could probably use that to fix other spots, probably get some wide receivers. But man, this is going to be weird not seeing Zeke line up against the defensive fronts in the NFC East, man. So do you think this is the end for Zeke, or you think he's going to have another opportunity somewhere as like a running back too?
No, I don't think this is the end for Zeke. He definitely isn't the player that he once was, but I think that's really a testament to, what he once was. I think last year he still had over 700-800 yards rushing. I think he still had double-digit touchdowns last year as well. So he's still an effective NFL back. He's not that special guy. He's not that warrior that we got, so accustomed to seeing in that star helmet. And it's going to be a big adjustment if he continues to go on and play for somebody. But again, I've been saying all off season, especially to our Buffalo brethren who came on the show last year and told us that they were Super Bowl ready. You live in Buffalo. I'm in the Midwest. You live in Buffalo. Come January and February, guess what it does? It snows. It gets nasty. You don't need a finesse offense. You don't need your quarterback running the ball 10 times, off tackle, left, right, whatever. You need a mutter. Go get you a mutter. You don't need a Devin Singletary. Now the kid, Dalvin's little brother might be, might be nice. So I'm not gonna, not hate on James. but you need a mudder. You need somebody who can, get it done in inclement weather. You live in Buffalo, New York. Okay? So go to Buffalo, Zeke. Go get you a ship because I'm really upset at Romo and I'm really upset at Dak. Those are two guys I believed in, and they couldn't take you to a ship, man. Jerry, man, just fumbled the bag or fumbled your talent. So go to Buffalo, bro.
I didn't even think about that. That might be a good fit for them, man.
Yes, sir.
All right. So with that being said, so let's look at the wide receiver market. So I think this year is going slower than usual. We probably had a couple of signings in and there, like a Jacoby Myers, Juju Smith-Schuster. He's now in New England, but they're not really guys that's like still considered like at top 8 to 10 in the NFL, maybe even the top 12 to 15. I don't consider those guys
20 to 25. When you said their names, all I heard was wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. That's all I heard. Wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4. He ain't never had 1,000. He ain't never had double-digit touchdowns. So I would thought they was gonna get that Christian Kirk money. So it's crazy that the GMs have kind of come to a different mindset. Like, no, we're not gonna let them go crazy. We're gonna suppress this kind of almost like they doing Lamar. Low key, they doing the receivers. We kind of slowing this down, and y'all not getting all this money. Y'all gonna get slotted right where you need to be, 10, 11 million. That's basically the hype for the free agents this class in terms of the wide receiver spot, as it should be. We have a free agent wide receiver in DJ Chark, a guy who, I'm okay with bringing back at a certain number, but I think he was at 7, could have been up to 10 in terms of incentives last year. He's got to come in under that, and they're talking about he should be getting like 10 or 11 million. 30 catches, 500 yards last year. No. We're keeping this in check this year.
Okay, so you saying that? So we know these guys are not D-Hop. So D-Hop, there's going to be another file sale in Arizona, and apparently from seeing social media and things like that, it seems to me that Dallas Cowboys are trying to recruit DeAndre Hopkins to join them in the Big D, but I don't think the compensation will be really high for him to get him. I think you could probably get him with a high second and probably another day 2 or day 3 pick. So I'm asking for you, where do you think D-Hop go? Do you think going to Dallas would be a great fit for him, or you can find him somewhere else?
Well, first and foremost, let me say this. Now, I said that my man Jalen was I had him as a guy who could probably get a 3rd and a 5th in terms of compensation. I think when you look at D-Hop, who has slowed down over the last couple of years, had a little injury situation. Was that last year? Had a little injury situation the year before that. Oh, and a suspension situation. Has a contract that is considered somewhat. I mean, it's a nice contract, but there's been some inkling that he wants another deal as well. So I think again that's going to affect the compensation a little bit. So I think that's part of the problem. I think that's why he's still with Arizona. I think a lot of these folks would definitely like to make some moves if possible before the draft. And we still got some time before the draft, so maybe we see something happen. But I think, like you said, they're thinking second and something, and teams are like, I don't know. D-Hop kind of slowed down. I don't know. The last couple of years has been a great influx of receivers into the league. I mean, unless you really, really need one and really, really believe in them, and then Odell talking crazy, talking about he wants $20 million a year. I mean, what are these boys on? What are these boys on? You ain't played in, I don't see like 2 years. They told us you were supposed to be ready like in December. You were supposed to help somebody to the playoffs. But now you want $20 million a year? I'm sorry. I'm slightly hating on this little receiver class. I'm slightly hating. I'm sorry. I can't do it. Won't do it. Can't do it. Can't win with them.
Hey, I'm actually glad you brought that up because now we just seen Odell. He worked out for at least 6 to 18 teams over I believe the other day, and some of these teams are playoff teams. So he asked for $20 million. I'm not saying he can't get it. I think he will get it. Someone's gonna at least
think he will get it. Ooh, listen, man, I'm trying to get some mambo sauce. You know what I'm saying? Out of somebody from Washington, man, for the last year and a half. We're gonna have to make a gentleman's bet because I don't think he get 20, man.
You
I
don't think he
don't
gets
think maybe up to maybe I don't even think it's incentive laden 20s. That's gonna be tough, bro. That's gonna
oh man, but he can still play at a high level, man.
It's all what we consider a high level. I mean, is he going back to our we talked about Jacoby and who else we say before Jacoby? Juju. We talked about those guys being outside of the top 20, 25 receivers, right? I stand on that very, very, very confidently. Maybe even 35 if we're talking Jacoby. But anyhow, where is Odell? Is Odell in the top 20, 25 receivers? Odell of today. I ain't talking about from 4 years ago when he was, out there really doing something. And I see he still got the one-hand catches on the practice field. But where is he today, though?
But see, you asked that question, and I think it's hard to answer that because of the situations he has been. He literally played with Baker Mayfield, a guy who's allergic to throwing the wide receiver ones, and he had that injury, and then he finally gets to go to LA, and he revitalized their offense because let's not forget they lost Robert Woods that season. So they needed a boost to help out with Cooper Kupp.
Now let's see. Now you said revitalize. Now that's a strong word.
It is
that word. Now was he revitalizing or was he thriving as a wide receiver 3 over there?
He wasn't a wide receiver 3 over there. Wide receiver 3 is a Van Jefferson.
Yeah,
he was more like a wide receiver 2.
Well, you think somebody got hurt?
Yeah, Robert Woods got hurt.
Okay. Now where was he in the hierarchy? Where was he? Where was he in the hierarchy?
He was a wide receiver too. Could have had Cooper.
Okay, Kupp. So if he too, then we only can have. We got Kupp. We got. So who 3?
It's Van. Come on, Henry. You telling me?
No. We just talking. He was 3 until somebody got hurt. Is what you telling me?
Who? Odell?
Yes.
No, Odell was wide receiver 2 unsigned. Robert Woods got hurt on the Rams when he tore his ACL. Remember that? He tore his ACL. Then, okay, we need a boost because I think Van Jefferson's okay, but he's not going to help us just like with Cooper Kupp. So that's when they signed Odell. Odell was wide receiver 2. He was feeding lunch. He was getting the leftovers because they couldn't stop Cooper Kupp that year. They couldn't stop Cooper Kupp.
They can't nobody stop Cooper Kupp. All I'm saying is I think that if my man don't get hurt, I think Odell is the wide receiver 3. That's my point. And it's and an if was a fifth. I just think he was. That's just me. But but to the point. Listen, man, I want some wings and some rice, dog. With a salad, so because the sauce be looking sketchy at times, dog.
Okay, what's your cash app? Put your cash app in the private chat.
You know what I'm saying? Listen, we got the whole season because he ain't signing no time soon, and he ain't getting $20 million. I can tell you that right. I shouldn't say that, but I don't think he is. More power to him if he get it, man.
Okay, well, we can bet on that.
Okay. I'm sorry. We didn't got sidetracked, brother. I'm sorry.
Oh man, I do. They warn me about you, Henry. They warn me about you, man. They warn me about you, bro.
Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl, Lady E. Make sure y'all catch us on Falcons Tuesday. That's every Tuesday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And for my people that live in the Central Time, 5:30. Okay, this is where we go down and we talk about the Falcons game. We talk about Falcons information, breaking news, everything. And if you even just want to vent about them Atlanta Falcons, come on, because baby, Dirty Bird Nation be ready for you and be ready to hear it. So like I said, catch us out on the spaces on Twitter. You can find me at Lady E_. Tell them. Love y'all. Mwah.
All right. So the biggest fish in the sea is Lamar Jackson. So we haven't heard a single peep of the teams that he has talked to yet. He's officially able to talk to teams. We did see some tweets about a certain situation, talk about the actual money, saying, the 133 million. Like, he's like, what? Y'all really tripping off that? And we haven't heard anybody talked to Lamar yet. And I think that's kind of concerning, knowing that I'm going to be very real. And I said this in spaces and stuff. I love Sam, but he ain't no Lamar Jackson. That's just point blank, period. He ain't no Lamar.
I'm glad to hear you say that, man. Because there's a lot of folks, when I be eavesdropping in them spaces, man. There's a lot of folks who be talking real crazy about Sam and rookie contract and Lamar and this and that. So I'm glad you said that, DT. And I can, believing that you believe that, man, wholeheartedly, man. But the Lamar situation is just really one that is kind of just crazy, because I really do feel that there is somewhat of collusion going on. I do feel that the owners have put their foot. I don't know if they've had to actively get together and say, no, we're not going to do this. I think they understand. They're all smart men. They're billionaires. They understand that guaranteed contracts at the highest level for everyone breaks their business model. Okay. So we don't need to have to actively have meetings about Lamar. This ain't good for us. We know this, so we're not going to do that. With that being said, I do think that there's someone who may be willing to say, you know what? Okay, 230 was the number Watson got. Let's talk about 235 and let's do 200 guaranteed, because that's more than 180 for Kyler. That's more than 160 than whoever got signed before Kyler, got guaranteed. Let's talk about that. But the issue with that is that team, and it was brought up again in one of your spaces. And I can't remember who said it, but that whoever gets on the hook with him, they're first of all, Baltimore has to match. Or has a time period to match.
Yeah.
And there's like a cap lock is put on their team. So now, say on Monday, I decide that I want to go after Lamar, and I put these terms out there, and he says, cool, that's cool with me. He signs them. So, okay, it's like, okay, well, he signed the offer sheet. So now Baltimore has 7 days to match or whatever. In those 7 days, we're in the middle of free agency right now. I can't make, if this locks me up, I don't have any other free money. I can't make any free agent moves until Baltimore decides when or if they're going to match this offer. So now I'm stuck. I may not get you, and I can't secure nobody else. And I've done the legwork for you on a contract negotiation. You know what I'm saying? So there's a situation where I think that a lot of teams are like, they're hesitant to get involved with that. They're hesitant to have their cap situation locked up for a week during the middle of free agency. I think they're also hesitant on doing all the frameworks of a contract that then Baltimore can swoop in and match. And then also these guys, they are competitive and they want to win on the field, no doubt. But they are somewhat friends or in the same business. They don't want, owner A doesn't want to say, you giving him 150, 160. Okay, I'm going to offer him 180. Up it by 30 or 40 million, basically making you go up by 30 or 40 million. I know you're going to match it, whatever happens. And then it's a sticky situation. So it's just a bad situation. I think someone said that no one in this situation with Lamar, who at the quarterback position, has actually signed an offer sheet and left and gone to another team. So Baltimore kind of low key did their research and said that if this were to happen, this would be an unprecedented move. So they did their research. They're playing it, playing it close to the vest. They didn't even give him the $45 million tag, which meant that, he couldn't even really negotiate with anybody. So they're Baltimore, for the business of this, we may not like it, but they are doing their thing and doing their due diligence. And so far, so good.
The Lamar Jackson saga continues.
26, MVP, super uber talented, and can't get an offer. Crazy. Crazy. Well, and y'all signed Jacoby Brissett today. Y'all starting quarterback. Give it up. Give it up. Give it up.
Here you go.
Jacoby.
And just for that, we're going to end the show right here. And remember, do it because you care and not because they love you. One beat, one sound, one heart, and one love.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Enter the Lab with your boy DT, Atlanta's #1 lady, Lady E, and yours truly, C. Henry.